Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Sunday service of Now Creations. Always a joy to remind you that the most important thing in life, in your life, is the life of spirit that is at the very center of your being. Please never think you're going to find something better outside of you. The presence within you is always the illuminating presence that is so very important. May each one of us be in contact with that energy today and allow it to be our strength and especially our joy. If you're able to join us later on tonight, very happy to have you for What is Light Body from 7 to 8:30. We'll be introducing some new ideas at this time. Let's begin. My dear friends, we are now ready to bring to completion the vocabulary changes on viewing life from the limited third-dimensional personality self to the unlimited fifth-dimensional soul-spirit self. While we have enjoyed each vocabulary change, such as changing forgiveness to understanding and limitation to perfection, I am most pleased that you clearly understand that the change is not simply a change in vocabulary, but the real change is a change in the way that we are living. Concerning this change of living, I was very moved this past week when one of our members said, "I have awakened." And then someone else said a couple of days later, "I've awakened as well." Awakening. This is the pathway forward for all of us, that we awaken to the conscious understanding of what it means to be a fifth-dimensional soul spirit living here on planet Earth. Today's teaching will be focused on the 10th vocabulary change. The change will be from the third-dimensional attitude of waiting to see what God has in plan for you to becoming much more of a participant in the creative plan of God. I will begin with some introductory material, including some quotes that I think are very incisive, and then proceed to enumerate the 3 active qualities of becoming an active participant in the plan of God. Today's teaching is entitled An Ascension Vocabulary, Part 6, Active Participation. I think it would be helpful for you to take some notes. Let's begin. As we undertake this massive teaching of understanding our place in the plan of God, in this vast scheme of things, some introductory comments will be quite helpful. First, it's important to know, to understand, that we as human beings are participants in the realms of creation, of which the earth itself is a place. Creating is what we do every day of our lives. Each day, we create the reality of what we are engaged in. Although much of this creation is unconscious for many people, they simply are reacting to what's going on outside of them. You're different now. You're quite different now. At one time, you were like everyone else, just reacting to what life was bringing to you. You simply allowed life to dictate to you what its direction was going to be. That dictation came primarily from your family, from society, and from religion as well. As I said, you used to be like this, but not anymore. We are now consciously creating our lives. We are taking charge of our creation. And not only are we consciously taking charge of our creation, but we are doing so from that fifth dimensional soul, spirit, creative center. Kudos. Kudos to all of us, for we are now truly engaged in the active participation in the plan of God. The second point, many people who are less conscious in life in general are also less conscious spiritually. Let me explain. Many people seem to have this attitude in life. I will just wait to see what God has in store for me. I will just wait to see what God has in store for my life. Again, you can plainly see that such people will simply be reacting to what life is bringing them. And then they will conclude, well, this is probably what God had in store for me. At one time, you were like this as well, waiting for God to show up with a message for you. At one time, you were kind of unconscious, waiting. Actually, this waiting was a result of not knowing where to look or how to look for guidance. So that rather than taking charge of our lives, we just continued to wait and wait to receive a message. Again, this used to be you, but not anymore. Now you have become an active participant in creating your life. And again, not just an active participant simply third dimensionally, but now you have risen. You have risen to become an active participant in your life from your fifth dimensional soul spirit. And in so doing, you are clearly developing a partnership with the God Spirit. You're clearly developing a partnership with the God Spirit. But before we focus on this active participation, this partnership with the God Spirit, a couple of quotes will be helpful for us. The first one is from a middle-aged mystic, Angelus Silesius. This quote is quite clear and somewhat dramatic. Here are the words. Stop. Whither are you running? Heaven is within you. If you seek God elsewhere, you will forever miss him. Let me repeat it. Stop. Whither are you running? Heaven is within you. If you seek God elsewhere, well, you will forever miss him. This quote is helpful for us for two reasons. First, it is obvious. It tells us that we are wasting our time when we are looking for God outside of ourselves. Although this is still where most people look for God, outside of them, looking outside of themselves for a message, for a sign, waiting for God to show up for them. You used to be like this, but not anymore. You now realize something that is quite new for you. You've been focusing on something that is quite real and quite thrilling, but somewhat new. You have found, you have discovered, and now you take delight in the indwelling presence. You have found, you have discovered, and you take delight in the indwelling presence. You truly have found God within your self. You have found God within your soul spirit. And principally, you have found this indwelling presence through the practice of meditation. And now this indwelling presence has become the spiritual foundation of your life. Has it not? Has it not? And now it is precisely this indwelling presence through which and in which you are becoming an active participant in the life, in the plan of God from your fifth dimensional soul spirit. You are no longer waiting for God to show up with a message. You have become an active participant. The second quote. The second quote comes from one of our favorite study books, The Ultimate Journey by Robert Monroe. On page 217, Monroe presents a beautiful, beautiful vision of life in such words as, there is no teacher, there is no student, there is only remembering. There is no joy, there is no sorrow, there is simply love. There is no good, there is no evil, there is only expression. And then, in the last description of the vision, Monroe says, there is no limit, there is no chance, there is only a plan. There is no limit, there is no chance, there is only a plan. Well, I do not profess to know everything that Monroe had in mind by those words. There is no limit, there is no chance, there is only a plan. I feel, in a sense, comfortable to share with you my interpretation, especially recalling to mind Angela Salesius' comment that heaven is within you. Thus, the following is what I feel is our participation in the plan, our participation in the big overall plan of life. Oh boy. First, some preliminaries. Take notes on this. Some preliminaries that we know to be true, and then the three practical applications of our active participation in the plan of God. The first preliminary is that you and your soul spirit are created in the image and likeness of God. So what does this mean? Well, it means that you and I, that we are free, creative energies. Just as our source is a free, creative energy, so too we, first step, we are free, creative energies. We create. We consciously create. This is what we do. Secondly, we freely create through our intentionality. What this simply means is that we are free to create whatever we desire. So each one of us must eventually come to a conclusion of what it is that we will freely create. Our intentionality sets the direction. The third preliminary, not only are we created in the image and likeness of God, but there's also a part of us. There's a part of us, part of you, me. There's a part of us that has not left our source. And that part of us, which has never left our source, in whose image and likeness we have been created, that part of us is our conscious, eternal soul spirit. This notion of not having left our source is so important because we begin to understand that each one of us, as a conscious, eternal soul spirit, each one of us is an extension of our source. Each one of us is an extension of our source. We are indissolubly connected to our God spirit. This is why daily meditation is so important, because daily we need to connect with our source, which then becomes the guiding presence in our lives. The fourth preliminary is vital as well. In addition to being a free creative energy, in addition to creating from intentionality, and in addition for maintaining our daily connection with our source, it is important for us to know that the conscious energy of that source that is within us, the conscious energy of the source that is within us, if we are made in the image and likeness of God, then it is very important for us to understand what this guiding energy of the source is within us. What is this guiding energy? To the best of our knowledge, what the great spiritual teachers have taught us, and that what we understand to be the fundamental energy of the divine energy, the fundamental energy of the divine energy is love. We have to know what is guiding us. Well, we can see this divine energy of love presented in many, many textbooks. My favorite description is presented in that very compact saying of Jesus in A Course in Miracles, when he simply says, teach only love, for that is what you are. You've got to come to this conclusion that until you respond only from love, you're just missing the beat. Until you respond only from love, you're pretending. Teach only love, for that is what you are. It's just so important for us to understand this. Said so clearly, presented so simply, teach only love, for that is what you are. When connected to the other three preliminaries, we understand that we will freely create only from love, that we will intend only love, and to strengthen that love that is within us, to truly understand that we are the extensions of God. We are the extensions of God. That energy is within us, moving us forward. And I am very happy to say, one of our basic principles of now creations is, I am beloved God in human form. We got it right. Just a matter of us now doing it. We have all the preliminaries. Now we're ready to move forward. But before we do so, Please put it to the test. Please put it to the test. Just each day, that you might live from that loving center within yourself. It's important for you to know your center because as we know our centers, that's when we most realistically, actively participate in the plan of God. This love that is within us is you. It is the basis for our future growth. And as Bob Monroe suggests, it is not only within us, but that love within us has no limit. It is intentional, not by chance, and that this is the plan of God. A limitless love, intentionally the plan of God. One last comment before we proceed to the three qualities of our active participation in the loving plan of God. We must come to realize that the love of God is not simply a touchy-feely, warm fuzzy of the third dimension. Rather, we understand that the true love of God is based on an intelligence, that the true love of God is the most intelligent thing you can do in life, and that this intelligence is not simply the limited understanding of a third dimensional factor, but in fact, this limitless understanding, this intelligence, is a grasping. It's a grasping of the underlying energy that we are in the plan of God, the most intelligent thing we could ever do in life. Love involves not just a conceptual clarity, but also the right feeling that we need to have within ourselves. In a nutshell, love demands a knowledge of not only third dimensional people skills, but also a grasping of the spiritual intuitions that reveal themselves to us. Intelligent love. That's the formula for active participation in the plan of God. Okay. With these reminders, we are now ready to proceed to address the three qualities that are necessary for each of us to understand that we are active participants in the plan of God. The first quality of our active participation in the loving plan of God is the clear realization that you are consciously creating your reality, but with these two improvements. You're consciously creating your reality, but with these two improvements. You clearly understand that you have always created your reality, even when you didn't fully realize that you were doing so, which is still the case with many people. But now you will be able to create your reality with these two improvements. First, you will put your past behind you. First, you will put your past behind you. And will now use this phrase for your future. The spiritual phrase for your future is from now on. From now on. Regardless of where you have been in the past, from now on, you will be different than what you have been. From now on, you will create only from love. This bears repetition. From now on, you will create only from that loving presence. One more time. From now on, you will create only from that loving presence. And let's be crystal clear. Creating from that loving presence surely is what you want to do. But please realize that you are quite capable of doing so. So this is where two words from Jim Self's 7 Living Words come into play. The words certain and capable. Please listen to these two words. Be certain that you are capable of creating in love from now on. Be certain that you are capable to create from love from now on. Rise up. Rise up. Be certain of your capability of doing so. The second quality of being an active participant in the plan of God. The second quality is firmly establishing yourself, firmly establishing yourself in the oneness of all creation and responding lovingly to it. Well, this is quite easy to do with nature, especially during this time of spring and summer brood. It is vitally important that we hold this oneness and love with all people, especially the ones with whom we are sharing our daily living. It is vital to our spiritual welfare that we understand that there are no enemies. There is no us versus them. We must never think that hell is other people, but rather we must learn to embrace everyone as a child of God, reminding ourselves that we enter heaven 2 by 2. And because we know better, we will now do better. Oneness from now on. The third quality is a combination of 2 experiences. The first is that we continue to do our 7 daily spiritual practices. In our recent member survey, I was very moved by how many people commented on the importance of their 7 daily spiritual practices, especially, of course, meditation. It is these 7 daily spiritual practices that are the foundation for the expansion of our spiritual growth. The second experience, rest assured that if you willingly do the spiritual work, that you will then become better and better. Many of you are experiencing this already, but rest assured that when we follow the plan of God, when we follow active participation in God's direction, rest assured that we in our creations will continue to uphold this image, that we will continue to grow together spiritually as a spiritual community, to ascend into our greater consciousness together while we are still here in our physical bodies. We are the participants in the new species of spiritual humans rising on the planet as we become active participants in the unfolding of the plan of God. In conclusion, we have shared with you in our recent 6 teachings a new vocabulary of fifth dimensional understanding. And indeed, I am most pleased that we understand that we're not just changing words. What we really are changing is our style of living. It is precisely this change of living that we will share together in now creations. And as we gather together more and more into the future and delight more and more into the future, rest assured that there will be greater growth in the future together from now on. Let me now take you into meditation, and what a joy it is to do so. We knew it was coming. We knew it was coming. We knew that what was coming would be to finally connect ourselves with the God Spirit in understanding that we are active participants in a larger plan. We knew this was coming. We have stopped. We have stopped looking outside of ourselves. And have found that incredible presence at the very center of our beings. The problem in the past was that we knew this conceptually, that we didn't have enough of the daily experience in it to hold our attention. That was the problem in the past. we too, were waiting to see what God had in store for us. Oh, it sounded so good, sounded righteous, even holy. I will wait to see what God has in store for me. All the while deluding ourselves. Of the indwelling presence within. I compliment all of you because you now know the indwelling presence. And not only have you known it conceptually in your minds, but now you are experiencing it and you are in the flow. You are in the flow of the loving presence. Are you not? I mean, honestly, are you not in the flow of the loving presence? It's taken us a while. It's taken us a while, but we've worked on it to understand that, well, teach only love, for that is what you are. Isn't that just ring true to you? Isn't that what you've always wanted? Just to be this loving presence. And not be anyone's fool, no, not being a doormat, but just smart, intelligent, loving presence, calling others into the same understanding, but also being understanding when that calling is not quite so understood, but you know it. It's a great phrase, isn't it? From now on, from now on, from now on. From now on, and you have to love. You have to love those 2 of the 7 living words of Jim Song. I am certain of my direction, and I am capable. I am certain and know what I'm doing, and I am capable of doing it. These are living words that assist us to understand that we are only love. Certain, capable, no more pretending. Certain, capable. Come on, come on. And rest assured that the plan of now creations is to consciously, actively participate in the plan of God. That's our goal, for each one of us to consciously step forward and be a participant in the plan of God for you. That's our goal in now creations, helping each other to do so. So for the rest of today, I'll teach only love, for that's what you are. And the same tomorrow. We are just becoming clearer and clearer, active participants in the unfolding of the plan of God. Let's enjoy that. Do it happily today. And with that, let me invite you to gently breathe your eyes open. Just nice, easy breathing of those lovely eyes to open. And you have to be happy knowing who you are and consciously being an active participant in the universal plan. I am an eternal being of light and love. Thus, only good can come to me, and only good can come from me. And we are eternal beings of light and love. Thus, only good can come to us, and only good can come from us. Namaste.